Hello, everyone. This is the Rabell Realty Group podcast on Facebook Live, and we are here today for the first January show in our brand new studio, the official studio now. I'm Kristen Rebecca.
And I'm Rebecca Johnson.
We're glad you're here. Thank you so much. Hope everyone had a happy new year and wonderful holiday, maybe a little bit of a break from the normal life. How was your holiday?
It was good. We were over in St. Augustine. How was your
Shocker.
holiday?
We were there too. Obviously, we seem to go there often. It's a good, a short hour and 45-minute drive. So I do believe a lot of Gainesville people, Alachua County people either own or visit there. I actually spoke to two recent buyers yesterday who were both there, literally like walking steps to where I was. So a lot of people go there.
It was really busy this weekend over there too. So.
Yes, we talked to a couple people and they said this is actually the busiest season, the time of year. And it's, the Christmas season, a lot of people don't want to go up to see snow and be in the cold. They'd rather be, near the beach where it was actually quite warm.
Yeah, it was in the 70s, and I think it got up to 81 one day. It didn't feel like it on the beach with the wind.
No, I was going to say the wind and the water were way too cold, and it is jellyfish season in January, so we got to see all the jellies on the beach, and we're probably going to be getting a water suit, the surfing suits for Mason, because he will not get in that water if he sees a jellyfish.
That's funny. Yeah, I was on some of the St. Augustine boards, and they were saying it was more busy than usual, and I imagine it's because Florida's still open, and people are looking for stuff to do. I know I saw a ton of out-of-state license plates.
Yes.
So
I went to grab some of the coupons because we went over to do a few things in St. Augustine, the city, and I walked up and no one was Floridian. You could tell they were all from either different countries or different states. So it was the tourist center, downtown.
Yeah.
So definitely saw a lot of traffic there. We did a haunted tour, and the woman, who the tour guide, she was saying it was unexceptionally, it was a very different time because of the amount of people. It's typical for December, January, but even more so this time. So.
Yeah, people were saying that it was way busier than they're like, we're usually busy, but this is super busy. So, all right, so let's kick the new year off.
Chit-chat. Let's get on to the Monday Market Minute.
All right, so not very impressive for the first 4 days of January.
How
dare you? And this is, and I'm
probably
sure
not even updating their MLSs, truthfully.
Yeah, and I know there's more listings that have come on since this morning when I pulled the numbers, but active listings 7, pending sales 22.
Probably from last year as well.
So, yep, everybody's just getting in there and pending things, and no closed sales reported for the first. Well, there probably won't be any closed sales actually for January until later. Well, I had one today, so there you go.
There you go.
Maybe I was the first with Susan. And
these are all pinned as of January 1st.
Right. So when I do it, I only do the numbers January 1st through today. So
and you pick
over the
these
weekend.
Pretty early in the morning. So again, there could be a couple of other active listings, a couple more pinned. We do have to get on as real estate agents and as at our companies as well to turn in the information to get them on the MLS. So again, this is from our GACAR board, the GACAR MLS. As of this morning. So a couple more numbers could be there. Closed sales.
You're not going to see any until really today because January 1st was a holiday and then it was, the weekend.
Right.
So the first sales of January 2021 probably occurred this morning. So I know Susan from our office had one with us. And so maybe that was the first closing of 2021 in the area. Who knows? But yep, so we'll see that. That number will change a lot.
Throughout the weeks, right? So I know that we talked about showing numbers, the 2019 versus 2020. So do you have that for us, Rebecca?
We do. So we're going to take a look and see December versus December. I know we talked about that last week. So you could see December 2020 versus December 2019. The sales were up, but not as high as I would have thought. I mean, we definitely felt it was
for
busier.
December, I think, it's pretty, that's impressive. That's distinctive. It doesn't seem huge, but remember, Decembers are never really that big.
Yep. And then you could see the closed
total for the year.
Total for the year.
That's
Now these
where
are
it's
only
not impressive to me.
These are the we only do attached and detached homes. We're not doing commercials and rentals and all that.
Multifamily,
right. This is just residential. So you could see 5,358 for the total
year.
2020, and then 5,245 for the total of 2019. So it's different, and but not that big of a change. So I think what we were talking about last week and the week before, that it's more of an absorption problem, is probably the more accurate statement. It is definitely, we need more inventory.
I think the difference is last year we had really low inventory. We had really low, even lower inventory now, and it goes really fast.
So some numbers that
higher.
We didn't make slides for that I thought were kind of interesting. So because it gets too much if you've got too many numbers up there. And we have some that you can look at that are for the total market that we can put up there. The year-to-year comparison, we can look at that. And then we've got the kind of the market statistics overall.
So we can go to that year-to-year comparison if you'd like.
So
there you go.
This is for everything in the entire area, and it just kind of shows you, you've got 3,370 versus a year ago you were at 3,504. So you've got an increase, a decrease of 134. So a 4% change. So we are down as a whole for things. I honestly think that's on the rental side because
there's nothing for rent.
There's not, especially if you're looking for a student rental, they're definitely still out there because the students didn't fully come back. But if you're looking for homes for rent, it has definitely been a challenge. You could see the average pricing, is up. So 6% is what they're saying on that.
So it went from 268.6 to 285.9. So really 290, from 269 to 290. That's the average sale price.
Yep. And then your median price went from being 238 to 252.
I mean, that's a big jump right there. And that shows that absorption rate, sort of the lack of inventory has raised the prices. So, and we're going to continue to see that. We'll talk about it a little bit later as well. So thank you everyone for watching and liking our new setup. It's fun. It looks official, right? We've got Gainesville in the background. Of course, it's the night version of Gainesville, but we thank you for being on here. And again, talking a little bit more about the year-to-year comparison. Our prices have risen. We have less quantity sold total than last year. So, we are decreasing it. We have decreased in inventory and increased in price. And again, that just shows that we've had, a pretty strong market despite COVID. I do believe that in Gainesville, if we were to look at the months of March and April, which are our biggest months, they weren't terrible, but they were definitely decrease, down. Right? They were down in numbers from the normal years because March through July are really our biggest months. And then I bet you if you looked at October, November, December, you would show, stronger months because that's usually our downtime. Usually we get to take a break in September and just sort of roll through the fall. And everything that I've read and seen and experienced is that we did not get that break. The break more came in March and April. And actually I have someone looking at Hale houses right now, and I just had a great conversation with one of our realtors who sold a very similar home last year. And the price difference is about, I believe it's $45,000 from what she sold it. Now she put it on the market March 8th, which was I think the day that we closed down. And so there was a little bit of we don't know what's going on. I mean, it was brand new for definitely Florida and the United States, and we really didn't know what to expect. So lenders held back, buyers held back, the sellers sort of held back also, and dropping the prices to get it sold, and worries that we wouldn't have a market at all this year. So, right now the price has increased that much. Now it's not showing in our numbers here, but it definitely shows per neighborhood.
Well,
right.
I did, and on the next slide, this is the overview for everything, but I actually ended up going in deeper after I had already sent this. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but this is where I thought it was really interesting. So I pulled everything for 2020. And so for residential homes, those are your single family detached homes, there's 597 on the market. and your attached, which is going to be your, so if you think Regent's
Condos.
Park, yeah, they can be condos, they can be townhouses, things like that. You've got 160 on the market total. So the average sale price or price sold for 2020 for these items, so single family residential home, $270,000 roughly, and for an attached was $149,000. Average days on the market, 109 for a single family residential. Detached for an attached was 80. But
so
then
that's not a huge difference.
Not
Let's
a huge
talk about
difference.
that from last year.
So then I looked at 2019, and you had an average sale price for your home detached at $252,000. So you went from 252 to 270. Which is a pretty decent jump. It could
20.
knock some people out of the market. Thankfully, interest rates have been low, which
Right.
bring them back into the market. And then your average condo, it jumped $10,000 in a year. So you went from 139 to 149. Average days on the market, even though this was a super hot year, this year, 2020, it'll take me 3 months to figure out the year,
Right.
109. 2019 was 113.
Right, so that's that comment that I just made, is that is not a huge difference. Now we're noticing as realtors, and probably you're noticing as buyers and maybe even sellers, that a lot of the houses are not staying on that long. So this is sort of all of Alachua County.
This is all of Alachua County, correct.
So,
it's
and maybe even
the
a
two.
couple of other counties, or did
Nope,
you just choose
just
Alachua?
Alachua.
So, right, remember she looks at the numbers. So basically, we're looking at all of Alachua County, probably the numbers that made it stay similar and not so far off were the ones that were...
Yes, Susan,
Yes,
you were the
first
first closing of 2021, as far as I'm concerned.
That's all it is in our book. But, the outskirts that are maybe not as family friendly or buyer
Or
friendly.
properties that are unique. You have to
Unique
take into
properties.
account that this isn't excluding handyman specials.
Right.
Farms, unique properties, dome homes,
I was just gonna say
A-frame
the
homes.
round homes,
Right.
right.
It's not excluding any of that. So you're going to have homes that hit the market in some neighborhoods that go, and we could delve into that one day and look at homes neighborhoods where they do sell in 10 days or less typically. And I always, people always say, oh, it went too fast. Well, I can tell you that getting it under contract is the easier part. Then getting it to close is the next whole phase of everything.
Especially right now with appraisers not being able to take it on very quickly.
Appraisers will take a lot longer.
We're actually asking, when we have our buyers, instead of doing a 30-day conventional loan close, we're trying to get to 40 days because the appraisers are not available because they're doing so many refis. So, we're trying to keep in line with what's going on with the current market.
So I did pull 2018, and I do want to go through that really
let's
quick.
do that.
So
2 years back.
2 years back, where we were, average sale price 246 essentially. It was 245,966.
So 245 2 years ago to 270 this year.
270 2 years
This
ago.
past year.
And then you've got on the condo side, the average condo was 127, or really 128. It was 127,929. Now 150. So it's been a pretty interesting jump. Days on the market didn't change a whole lot on that either. But again, it's not taking into account
all the collective
the unique properties.
Right.
So I thought that was pretty interesting that home prices have jumped significantly in 2 years.
Despite the virus really holding people back from keeping their jobs. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people they decided to go into forbearance rather than, paying their loan right then that day. So, that possibly caused them to stop wanting to buy or even possibly sell in fear. But, the fact is that the numbers have risen despite the coronavirus, despite the amount of deaths, despite the amount of lost jobs. In our area, it really hasn't affected Gainesville. Now, if you're looking at the market as a whole, the bigger cities like New York and Miami, they're the ones who are really affected. And that's what the predictions will be when we get into that. But is that how is Gainesville going to be affected when you're looking at the national market as a whole? Because you're hearing a lot about foreclosures. You're hearing a lot about the big cities being really affected, people moving. Let's talk about that a little later.
We will.
All right. We're going to take a break. This was a really long session about the market, and we hope to continue more about that later, but we'll be back in a few. Thanks for
My name is Megan Greenhampton. I represent Team Kristen and Rebecca at Rabell Realty Group. The thing that made Kristen and Rebecca stand out versus other options were that they seemed very supportive and had a very good reputation. I have stepped from behind the scenes in an admin position into feeling confident enough to be a realtor myself. They are brokers that actually support their agents. They are not looking to just further their own name in the business. They actually do pass along leads to other agents. I would recommend Kristen and Rebecca's team to others because they are supportive, accessible, they are empowering, and very positive. I'm very happy here. I've been to 5 other brokerages, and this is by far the most empowered, successful, strong that I have felt.
Hey, welcome
Hey,
back.
welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us or joining us now. So what do we have next? We talked a lot about the market, and again, we will continue.
I think we're going to talk about this or that.
What would you do? So a lot of people are definitely using the internet now for research in their homes. They have for a while. We put that into our our listing book when we meet with sellers and how they're online first. So we kind of wonder if you're out there, if you want to answer us, whether you're on today or later, what you're seeing as realtors or as buyers. Are you going online first, or are you calling your realtor to pick the homes for you and show you first? So
I'm kind of a drive-by.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed a little bit of both. I do know that we realtors had to change up how we showed houses this year by using Facebook Live, WhatsApp, and I guess you could say Zoom, but any of these online services. We used a lot more video, and Zillow has a virtual tour, and then there's Matterport tours. So we did a lot of virtual tours to help the online shoppers during the pandemic. And what we're probably going to continue doing is that people are becoming a lot more savvy online with technology. And so, but you as a buyer, Rebecca, you said you like to drive by first.
I mean, when I was looking, yes, almost any house that I've bought was a drive-by first. As I think about it, sometimes I'll see it pop up online, but normally I'm just out,
Right.
and I'm like, oh, what's that? Actually, the house in Tioga that we live in, that was probably one of the first ones I bought online. Everything else was a drive-by. Went to list a house, drove by a lot, and I'm like, I could build here. Let me think.
Well, I think, that shows you that as time went on, because you lived there for 2 years now?
I like to average, and yes, I've been in that house for 2 years.
2 years ago, you started using online rather than drive-by, or maybe it just happened to be online than drive-by.
It was because I couldn't find a house that had all the criteria I wanted. I had to look online first.
Yeah, there you go.
So
I know you're an online shopper, so we can go back to that, this or that. Do you online shop, or do you go to the store?
Right. All the time.
Right.
It's like Christmas every day if you get a package. I prefer shopping online. I don't mind going into the stores, but I will say they're definitely training me to not want to go into the stores by not being open. A lot of the clothing shops that I like, you either have to get in line, and it's a 2-hour wait, that you get your little buzzer or your cell phone buzzes, and you come back at your time. Or like I'll just say at Banana Republic in our mall,
Closed in the mall.
hasn't been open since March, and so every time I go by, I'm like, oh no, you're not open. Okay, so I just stopped looking.
They're also not holding as much inventory. I know we talked about this before, but those of you who have not been on here, we talked about this. Stores are not bringing out as much inventory because they want you to go online and search online instead. I think that poses a problem for people who are used to shopping in stores. And
they're getting like one of each size.
Right. So at least you can run in and maybe see that size and put it on. I do remember years ago being in big cities, and that was how they already did it. And I think it's just the amount of people. But now with the pandemic and just it's easier to shop and sell online.
I do like to touch things because fabrics fit differently and all that. But I've become used to shopping online now. I'm like, okay. And I'll tell you, if you were home bored over the weekend, there were a lot of really amazing sales. Every time I turned on my phone, they're like 72% off. And I'm like, is the markup on clothes that big that they can do a 72% off
Yeah, that's a
sale?
good question, the markup. Well,
Yes.
I don't know. Or are they, I don't know. You were telling me that you read something about how they're expecting a huge amount of returns
Yeah, that
this
was
year.
that was either Christmas Day or the day after Christmas. It was in the paper, or well, I say the paper, you know what I mean,
Online,
cell phone.
right.
That that they were expecting a lot of returns. People were wanting to either exchange for other items or for gift cards or cash.
Now, I wonder if that happened because it was a prediction for the day after Christmas.
I think I
but
left.
I never go back to, I don't want to go back to the store the day after Christmas or that weekend because it's usually completely insane.
Yeah, I don't do that. I think we went bike riding instead.
Yeah, I'd prefer to
So,
stay
yeah.
at home or do something fun. So rather
Yeah.
than shop, although shopping's fun, it's just not when everyone is back at the stores. And I think it's a little harder to return anything online unless you're Amazon. Amazon, take it to Kohl's? Or
You could take it
go
to
to
like a
UPS.
post office and just drop it off, and they'll put it in a box and ship it back as long as you have the return label. It's super easy. Amazon is definitely winning on that. Yeah, I think most of the stuff I bought online came from different online stores or shops. Even if they were local, they were shipping them over, or you could swing by and pick them up. But
Well, I do
Yeah.
think that people go online more so than they did before. We had a stat a couple years ago that 89%, and I'm gonna suspect that stat has gone, has risen, especially last year with people not wanting to get out and social distance and be safer. So, as we list your homes, we will meet with you and show you the pricing, but also show you our great marketing, and that includes these videos that we show you, at the beginning of our podcast and at the end, and including virtual tours and beautiful photography. And then we have great write-ups too. And we put those on all the websites that you can even think of that have to do with real estate, including buyselrebell.com and our Facebook. So if you would like to talk to us about listing your home, please reach out to us at info@buysellrebell.com. So the next thing we'll get to is to tech tips. Again, I know we talked about this before, but we have got some other tech tips and stories that we can go over with you about getting your home techie. So do you have a smart home?
no.
No.
I'm actually like not a smart home person.
So you were the first one to turn me on to the Nest.
Okay, I do have a Nest thermostat, but it's more for a control factor over my family.
Okay.
That way I know what the AC is set
So,
to and
yes.
the heat. I do have one of the doorbells. I'm looking at it on the screen.
Is it the Sky Bell or the Ring?
I have a Nest because I'm a simple
yeah,
creature.
there's the Nest also,
and I want
right.
one
That's
app. So I do have a Nest doorbell. But we do not have any like Alexas or Google Dot things
Right.
or smart light bulbs. We're
Now,
very
you
like
told me and I know this is not smart, but it's technology based, and so for your phone you can plug it straight into.
Oh yeah. I like those little outlet receptacles that have like the plugs for. I assume Androids can do the same, but like iPhones, we're an
Plug
iPhone
it right
house,
in. You don't need.
so
Thank you. You don't need any extra, the
Yep,
little.
I don't need the cube,
Yeah,
which
the cube.
really sucks when you travel because we don't know where any of the cubes are. So I just assume that everybody has these receptacles. But yeah, we have those, and yeah, that's kind of techie. But yeah, we don't have a lot of the automated lights or anything. But I know that you've talked about it in Grand Oaks, that people
Yes.
like that and wanted to tell us about that.
Yeah, so that's really what people are looking for. Our builder, We Spin Homes and Renovations, does already have this, and you can get it with a couple of different companies. It's really easier when you install the entire package when you're building, but you can certainly piecemeal this. And like Rebecca says, if you have the Nest, if you put in the Nest thermostat, you can also get the Nest doorbell, and it's all on one app. Some people have, a couple of different versions of everything. So when we bought our house, talked about this before, it did not have a smart thermostat, which we have not done yet, but we did have the smart doorbell, and it's the Ring doorbell. And we had the Ring doorbell in the front door already installed and at our garage door already installed, which of course means every time the wind blows one of our plants, it rings our phone. So, is it my favorite thing ever? No, but it is nice because we do have a lot of people come by the home to, do our front yard or our pest control. And sometimes we're not home, but I can race home if I need to be there. And when we were renovating the bathroom, that was really nice because I knew when they would show up if they didn't show up. Simply Safe, which is on here, is also, it's sort of a wireless security alarm that you don't have to pre-wire your home. You can hook it up with your app, and it's a security alarm for your home. So you don't have to have that pre-wired by like Crime Prevention or Sound Ideas or any of those companies in town. And then, there's these light bulbs. Didn't you say you went on a shopping?
Yeah, I went to Lowe's over the weekend, and the light bulbs, I was like, why is it
Are they
$25?
LED light bulbs? Is that all that they are?
No, they were smart light bulbs, and they're real heavy, and they I don't know.
Are they the clapper? You clap and they turn? Just kidding.
No,
that was
clapping.
the original smart home, the clapper.
That's true. That is very true. Oh man, I remember the clapper.
Remember Uncle Buck? He clapped to get his light on and all the lights in the city turned on.
No, these are like lights controlled by your phones and stuff. And I know we have a realtor at the office, and she loves, like, she could put her garage door up and down, and like she's like, oh, my sitter left the garage door down or up or whatever, and she does whatever she wants with it. I remember I was running on the treadmill next to her, and she like put her garage door down because the sitter forgot. She's like, she'll just call me when she wants to get back in. I'm like totally old school. I know this is weird. I still have like the keypad for my garage, and I don't know.
Is that how you open it, with that keypad on the side of your garage, or do you have?
I have a button in the car because I don't know how to program the button in my actual car. So I have like the old
school remote.
Yep,
because you don't have it on your phone. So when we bought the house, we had that feature, and again, we also have it at Grand Oaks. I think it's a great feature to open and close your garage.
I think it's great.
I didn't hook it up, but guess what I hooked up?
What?
The washer and dryer. Did you know they even have smart washer and dryers?
Unless it folds my clothes, it's not smart enough.
With this, I don't know what the point is. I get the point with like the camera and the thermostat and the lights, but I don't get it with the washer and dryer because I'm not able to, there's not a robot, like you said, to take my wet clothes out and put them in the dryer. So
yeah, I mean, I guess funny. Maybe it senses if it's not dry. I mean, like I've seen that they even have stoves now that are, you can, like you're talking to your Alexa and you're like, hey Alexa, preheat my stove to 350 degrees, and it's like warming your stove now. I'm more of a like, I'm going to bake you for 12 minutes at 350. Turn the stove on and throw it in there and check you in like 15 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not a great baker.
Well, another thing that really came up about 2 weeks ago with the buyer in Grand Oaks was they wanted the Ethernet ports, and luckily we have those. And I guess that just gives you better, Wi-Fi, better internet service connectivity, right? So we are making sure that we continue with that. And some buyers want more than just one in each room, 2 or 3 Ethernet ports. So again, that's all about the smart, homes. I mean, they're getting smarter and smarter. Again, you can pre-wire everything or buy all the same product and have it all on one app, or you can piecemeal it and have a couple different apps. I think for the most part, unless you get everything Nest or everything Google-based, then you're probably going to have to piecemeal it.
I'm curious to know if people are like loyalists to brands. I mean, if you're out there,
I know you are.
I am. When I find a brand I like, I'm like committed to it, and I just buy whatever they have to offer as long as I agree with it.
We did just for the condo get a wireless, no key, type in your code lock. And so I can see who's coming in and out, 'cause, with renters and everything, I can see who's coming in and out. So I wonder if that's the next, I know that a lot of property management companies use it, but I wonder if that's the next latest and greatest for property management companies.
I've heard a lot of people complain that the batteries die. And then they can't get in.
Yep.
So you have to give them a hard set key anyways.
Right. And there you go.
See, I'm like, I don't want all that technology. I know. Let me get my tinfoil hat out really quick. I don't want all that technology spying on me, knowing when I'm coming and going from my house. I don't know who's watching the data. Go ahead. Y'all call me crazy. It's okay. I'm used to it. But I don't know. It like freaks me out. And then I remember when the Alexas, or I don't know, I'm sorry if it's not Alexa, maybe it was Google. Somebody was saying they were recording people, and They've
They've always been recording us. That's why they're already on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and Instagram. So
I know.
They're already watching you. They know what you do.
I know, but I don't need them actually watching me with video cameras. And there's probably video cameras. It's my computer, my laptop's probably watching.
Do you put tape over your camera when you're do you ever have it in your bedroom?
Nope.
Yeah.
If only if I'm working and at appropriate times.
You close it, yeah.
Yep, and then I close it and put it on the nightstand when I'm done. I worry about that.
Somebody's gonna watch. Too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can watch you too.
I'm just like, nope, we're not watching anything. So I try to keep the technology people out of my house as much as possible. So when I sell my house, I'm thinking about the write-up now. I'm going to be like classic, old school model. Resembling duck pond style home.
There you go. Right.
So,
So what you're saying is you're smart enough. You don't need a smart house.
Yeah. And if I stub my toe because my lights didn't come on, it's my own fault.
Right. Yeah. Well, we bought a smart house, and I can tell you sometimes we don't love it. So, but that being said, I do see a lot of buyers wanting smart homes. At least parts of it. Like I said, the Ethernet port.
Yeah.
They definitely feel like they're getting something else from that $250, Nest thermostat, even though they could probably pay for it themselves. All of these items individually are not very expensive. I mean, yes, a $25, light bulb is.
But they
is
supposedly
expensive.
last a long time.
They last a long time, and they're apparently better for the environment, or at least that's what they say, to help you feel good about paying that much. Right. So, there's some benefits and some fears with it. So. Let us know what you think.
Got my itchy fingers for the next one, sorry.
Yeah, so she's got her magic 8-ball out. This is usually how we determine what we're going to do the next year, is we pull out or any of our decisions in real estate, we get out the magic 8-ball.
We're kind of kidding, but not really.
Joking.
No, people ask us all the time, what's the market going to do? Even our own agents. And so we do keep this on our desk.
That's a joke.
It's mostly a joke. And when they ask me what the market's going to do or if they're going to make it in real estate, I'll be like, I don't know. Let's find out. I'm curious too. And I'll be like, is so-and-so going to make it in real estate? And it says things like, let's see, signs point to yes. All right, well, we'll still be around.
Hopefully you call us.
So-and-so, if you're out there, call us and get licensed to come on over to the office. You're going to make it in real estate.
We believe in you because of the magic 8-ball. So let's do some fun little joking.
Oh, yes.
So future predictions, are the prices going to continue to rise?
Prices in Gainesville or across the country?
No, we're talking about local.
Okay.
Real estate's local. Don't we know that?
Let's see. Are the prices in Gainesville going to continue to go up in the year 2021? Outlook is good. I think this thing knows what it's talking about.
Exactly. All right. Are the rates going to continue to go lower in 2021? My sources say no. So the future prediction is that they're probably going to maintain where they are now, because if they go any lower, you're basically getting, you're already getting free money at the 2.7 to about 3.7 percentages that you're getting. So if you want to stay in your home, continue to refi. And then if you don't, right now is the best time to buy in terms of rates. Now, in terms of lack of inventory, not so much, but the rates are so low that it's a great time to buy.
And if you're out there and you're thinking about buying, don't feel discouraged. You can always email us and say, this is what I'm looking for. And we can actually set you up on an alert, an e-alert through buysellrebell.com that will actually alert you as soon as something comes on the market so that you're the first to know, which is what I had to do with my house when I bought. So there are ways to do that. So any other questions for the Magic 8-Ball?
Are we going to have the best year ever?
Okay, let's see. Is Rabell Realty Group going to have the best year ever? Oh, yep, we are. Uh-oh, 5, remember 5, win 5, Cat 5, yep.
Yes, Lisa.
I do.
Cat 5 and pre-wired speakers were the big deal. Now, right, I think they're putting in Cat 7. So it's like 7.2. I don't know. I'm not techie. Lisa, I know you are, so you probably know. But it's not Cat 5 anymore. They're like Cat 6 or 7. So it's getting more and more techie and better. So what's the next question?
Oh, I don't know. Was Susan the first closing of the year?
Okay, was Susan Hicks the very first closing of 2021? You may rely on it.
There you go,
Good job,
Susan. It's
Susan.
official.
Well, again, we can't tell the future, but based on everything that we've been looking at, it's going to still continue to be a hot year. We did not have anything that showed that we were doing any worse or any better than before. It looked like, we've risen in value in Gainesville. Even despite everything that the pandemic brought. And then we stayed at the same amount of days on the market. Let's see, I think Powell will keep the rates unchanged, which will drive sales. There we go, Sam. So he's got a prediction right there. I think the sales will
I think sales will stay strong because Florida is open.
Right.
Currently and I think you're seeing a lot of people move here.
And I was reading a couple of articles and, foreclosures are out there, but they're not really in our state. I believe Alabama is like the #1 state and either North or South Dakota. So, the thing is that we're not going to see a ton of foreclosures, which is hard for the flippers and, investor buyers, but there's still stuff out there. You just really have to look hard. Basically,
really
those
hard.
drive-bys. And then, hopefully finding some wholesalers. A lot of my investor buyers are holding back from purchasing or purchasing way higher than they wanted to. But the nice thing is if you're flipping, and this is what you do, I wouldn't try it for the first time necessarily yet, but, they're selling for higher. So they're still getting about the same amount they would before.
I have some people that do flips, and I have been searching, and I was so desperate. A woman pulled a flyer out of one of our signs today, and I stopped and talked to her, and she was like, oh, yeah, I have this old house. I think I might want to renovate it. I was like, do you want to sell it? Because I can get you a cash offer in like 10 minutes.
Yep.
So, and she said no. And I was like,
yeah.
But, they're out there.
Right. So I think the market is still going to be hot. There's not a lot of foreclosures. We don't have to worry about losing a lot of homes. The banks are working with people to keep them. So it looks like a really great year for real estate as a buyer or a seller, truthfully. So hopefully you'll get out there. Now, our next little segment is your financial first aid kit. And I read this great little article about, I don't know how many of you keep up with your finances, probably the mathematical ones do, and the ones who really need to make sure that you are able to afford everything. There's some guys like Dave Ramsey that say don't have any, payments due, pay it all off. So you have, actually, is that cash poor because you're paying it all off? But you don't have to worry about if the market drops that you owe anything. Some people are opposite, and they basically leverage everything that they own so that they can be cash rich because everything is financed. But this financial first aid kit is really talking about how to get yourself ready and really know what's going on. So do you have anything that you do this time of year? No. So we're terrible at this, but this is why this really hit me hard. There's actually something to do every month to get your finances ready and be strong. So January, review your budget and cash flow as well as your net worth statement, and this lets you see how you did last year and if you want to make any changes for the new year. So really, this month is the month to look back on what you
in January?
did
I do it when I get my
year.
taxes
Right.
I do look at our sales and
That's
stuff.
why our CPA hates us. There you
Yes.
go, Sam. Yes, Dave Ramsey lost it all and then made it right back smartly because he's a financial guru and he knows what he's doing. But January is really the month to really look back on what you spent last year, what you did last year, and to see what you have now and what you can do to either change to become better or, to save a little more money. It's also a great time to make goals for your finances. So if you do want to get into flipping or investing, for rentals, this is a great time to get your pocketbook ready so that you can do that. And then coming up in February, April is really tax time, and your CPA usually wants you to do this like probably December or January. But this is when you organize your tax documents and receipts. If you keep receipts.
I've got receipts, don't worry.
And if you're feeling ambitious, just organizing all of your financial documents. So if you have any stocks or real estate, everything like that, get that all together so that's ready for your tax advisor. And then we'll just go through the first quarter. But in March, review your investments and allocations and making sure you are still on track for major goals such as retirement savings. That's a big part of it. What are we doing? We are saving money and putting it away, so squirreling it away so we can retire and have a great life, right? So hopefully you all are doing that. And then in April, it's pretty much just filing for your taxes. And if you're a realtor, hopefully, that you understand that you probably want to pay quarterly and you want to have all that ready so that you're not paying big bucks to the government all at once, because
It's a lot more painful that way.
it is. So that's what we have for you today.
Are you I have a question then.
Yeah.
Are you a leverager or are you a low debt person? I think I know the answer, but I'm not sure.
I would love to learn how to leverage a little bit more because I think that's a great way to go. But no, I don't love to have a lot of debt. I'd rather have a lot of cash. Yeah.
I'm a low debt, minimal amount of bills. I do go through, so I didn't think of it as your financial first aid kit, but I do go through in January and, say, why am I still subscribed to this? And that's where I think they get you right now.
That is actually a really good point about going through everything, because you've got like iPhone,
we have
Apple,
iMusic and iCloud, and I have something called YouTube TV. I don't know if everybody knows what this is. I had to be taught, and then I had to subscribe to Disney Plus.
Right.
And then I had to subscribe to,
You pretty much go through all your subscriptions and find out, what did I use? What's good for me? I mean, right now I don't do cable, and I know you don't either. So I'm subscribed to Hulu and Netflix, and then I use your Disney Plus.
That's okay. I use my nephew's Netflix, so.
I mean, now's the time to go, what family member or friend has what I really need, and don't use a lot of.
Don't draw their attention to it, though, because then they'll be like, I got to cancel this. But I do go through my subscriptions. And so I actually have satellite radio in my car. It is one thing that I love because I'm on the road a lot, between here in Tampa and here in St. Augustine. And I like to be able to listen to one station without static. Right. And I have learned that if I call them every 6 months, and I literally have it set as a reminder on my phone, and tell them I'm going to cancel, they will give it to me for like, $30 for 6 months or whatever. So I do call them. I know that's like a cheap thing to do.
But the June, every 6 months, the June?
Well, mine is April, and it's easy because I remember.
April and October.
April and October. I call them and I'm like, I'm going to cancel it. And they're like, oh, don't cancel. We'll give it to you for, $5 a month. And I'm like, I can live with $5, but it's not worth $29 a month to me. So
I like this. Lisa's giving a little information on this. If it's no interest on a large purchase, it's free money. That's true.
That's true.
Keep yours in the bank and make interest on it. Just make sure you pay it off before it runs out.
I think it was the trauma of the bad market, but I am not a leverager at this point in my life. Maybe I'll get there. So I am definitely a keep my bills low.
So if you're on here,
person.
Tell us, are you a leverager or are you a hold on to your cash and put it in?
We have a good friend that's a leverager, and he's always trying to convince me. And I can't do it. So if you've got an argument for us, then put it out there. But
we'd love to see it.
But that was your financial first aid kit.
Yeah, we did January through April. So come back in April, and we'll give you the rest of the year or the next quarter.
The rest of the story.
All right. Did you know that we have a property management company? We've got our cups right here. K&R Property Management, and if you have any interest on getting your properties on the market with us and rented, email us at rent@knrpm.com. So that again, that's knrpm.com.
Although K&R Property Management will work, but we did shorten it because we have found that most people can't spell the word management.
Oh.
So K&R PM will work for you. So if you're thinking about getting into real estate and you don't know where to start, you start by emailing us at join@buysellrebell.com. We will get you the first steps on how to become a realtor at Rabell Realty Group and join the team.
And we don't mind if you don't have your license yet. We will still talk to you.
Exactly.
And do you like to get social, even with social distancing? Well, you can come on Facebook, follow us, and watch this podcast at Buy Sell Rebell. And then also we are on Instagram at Buy Sell Rebell, TikTok at Buy Sell Rebell GNV. And then you can email us at info@buysellrebell.com.
We also have a blog where you can follow along and get helpful tips for getting your home ready to list and get your first home purchase underway. That is buysellrebell.com/blog. Follow along for updates.
And if you love this podcast, we want to thank the Fiesta Media for this production. And if you would like to start your own podcast, you can contact Leo at 352-327-5089. Also, if you would like to sponsor us, you can call that number or email us at info@buysellrebell.com. We will invite you on the show, give you a segment, and talk all about your business.
All right. We will see you next Monday at 2 p.m.
Thanks for joining us. See you next week. Bye.